Hello everybody, and with it being a new year and I haven't done a full tour for a little bit, I figured I would do a tour of every tank. I'm going to go in detail about the light, the filtration, all that stuff. So hopefully it'll be fun and we'll see how it turns out. I think it'll be fun. I've done a lot of work on these tanks the last 2 or 3 weeks, having some extra time off work. So I think you'll like what you see. Let's see what we got. So first I'll show you where all my tanks are at. This is what I call my fish room closet. We have 8 40-gallon breeders on this rack, 2 across and 4 high. And then over here we have 5 20-gallon longs. And so just in this 12-foot by 4-foot closet, I have 10 20 longs and 8 40-gallon breeders. 5 20 longs on this side, 10 20 longs and 8 40-gallon breeders. And right here before by the entrance of the closet is the guppy pond, and then over here across the same room I've got 4 20 highs, below that a 75, and below that another 20-gallon long. And we're still in the family room. This is the 29-gallon panda guppy tank. And then we gotta go all the way to the front of the house in the living room. My child is not wanting to be on video, and we have the 75-gallon green jade. Okay, so we'll start here in the closet. That means I also have 3 ponds outside, so that's gonna give us exactly 30 bodies of water with not shrimp in it, but 30 bodies of water. All of them being at least 20 gallons or bigger. Alright, so we'll start here with the 40-gallon on the top. Get up here on the ladder. This is the blue jelly tank, and I baited all the shrimp out in the tanks. My most popular tank. And the pleco, or the shrimp, pushed them all, put the algae wafer all the way in the back. So, every single shrimp in the tank almost is back there. So that's a bummer. So, but we'll come across here, and this is my 40-gallon orange shrimp tank, and these are all Neocaridina shrimp. That's all the shrimp I have. All the different kinds of Neocaridina. I don't have all the kinds, but I've got a lot. Our orange. They got little babies. This colony was just restarted not that long ago. This is one of the things I did when I got my break from work. It has been very nice. I needed a break. I'm getting all these tanks caught up. It was needed to be done. So there's the first 2 40 gallons, orange and blue jellies. It sucks, they're all the way back there. That is still a young shrimp, and she's buried. I like it when I see little shrimp buried. That means the colony's doing real good. So then the next level down is the purpose of this tank, and I should say all these 40-gallon breeders have the exact same filtration. They have, well, this one's a little different. This one has a coarse foam sponge and a fine foam sponge and a Aquaneat power head, and so does the orange shrimp tank. All the 40s have the exact same filtration and light, except for some of the bottom. have a different light, and we'll talk about that when we get there. This one, since this is a tank that was originally to breed super red plecos in, and I'm still doing that. Not really trying to purposely breed them, but when a spawn happens, it happens. And what this has recently turned into is where I put my red culls. I've been starting to try to separate my culls if I can get enough tanks going. So then I have red culls, not just one giant huge Skittles tank, so that I can keep them all separate. There are some yellows in here, but that's not too bad. There's lots of red shrimp in here. For my website, markshellyaquatics.com, if you're in the United States, anything you see in this video is available for sale. Well, not everything, but most of the shrimp, all the shrimp are available. I'm not shipping fish till spring. And then over here, and this 40 gallon, wow, the difference in this 40 gallon is we have the same. This one has 2 coarse sponges, and then there's a 400 gallon per hour pump back there going to a spray bar. And this is the only tank I have it set up like that because this tank has so many plecos in it. And then this next tank over, Blue Dreams. Let's see where the plecos have pushed the algae wafers at in here. These guys are super good. There's only a few bad ones in here. I did a real big video. That video was really popular. I had so many Blue Dreams. This is another tank I just recently redone. And so this video is also going to serve as an update on all those tanks I just redid. Look at all the big pleco turds. But we've got lots of really good Blue Dream shrimp in this tank that was just recently redone. It's looking really good. And here, I'm in such a small space. There's so many lights. The glare is the glare. I apologize for it. I do the best I can. Alright, so we've looked at the top 4. Now let's go on the bottom 4. I'm going to sit my butt on the ground to do that. So there's a couple things going on in this tank. We are breeding panda guppies that I purposely put some, I need to call them out, the ones that are not showing panda guppies, but I put in some midnight blue Moscow blood in here to mix it up a little bit. And then I gotta call out the ones that are not showing the panda colors. So this is one of the guppy tanks I got left, but there are long fin blue-eyed lemons going on in here for the plecos, and there's a short fin one in here too, so they get long fins and short fins. I turn them off. And there are shrimp in here. I started throwing some green jade culls in here, so eventually if I do something different with the guppies, there'll already be shrimp in here. Now shrimp, when I have to dose meds, the guppy meds and stuff like that, they're not going to like it, but they're not all going to die. They'll still be, it's not going to kill them all. They'll just be, some of them will die and they'll be slowed down for breeding for a while. But the shrimp will still be okay. So this will be another shrimp tank. And we still have the same filtration with the Aquaneat power head and Aquaneat light. And then over here, this one might be one of my favorite tanks. It's hard to say. Look at this Anubias, mermaid weed, and Bloody Mary shrimp. Oh my god. 40 gallon Bloody Marys. And we have long fin green dragons. Look at all these Bloody Marys in here. That blows my mind. Love this tank. This tank is looking so good. And this is like a medium-sized Anubias that has gone haywire. This is a really, really happy Anubias in here. Look at that flower. This tank is gorgeous. Gorgeous. It's like, thought about when I was resetting all these tanks, I thought about doing this one will be done, but I'm enjoying this tank too much right now to tear it down. I really am. I love this tank. Alright, then we'll go below this and we've got the Skittles. This is where all the other shrimp go that are not being kept in the lines. For one, they're usually just culls, but there's other reasons they end up in here. Maybe I'm not keeping that line of shrimp in a tank anymore and I want to put a new line in it. Or maybe it's a guppy tank with a bunch of crazy shrimp in it. I pulled all those shrimp out, put them in here, and then put a new line in the tank that I just took them all out of. So there's all kinds of different reasons how shrimp end up in here. But this is the Skittles tank, and it's looking super good too. This crypt has gone nutso. No, since I moved it, it was up here in the front. It's just a little guy. It started getting too big to be sitting up front, so I scooched it to the back, and now it's going bananas. And I got a lot of Rotala in here. This started off as just a single row of stems going all the way diagonal to the back, and it's been like that for probably over maybe even 2 years or more. And I just, when it grows to the surface, I cut it about halfway like I did on this one. You can see this one's already starting to grow back where I lopped it off. It just keeps growing back thicker and thicker and thicker. Stuff is super awesome. I love Rotala in this tank. There's a bunch of moss in here too. And same filter. And this light with this tank also has, these 40 gallons have 2 of these strip lights. I think they're Barina. They're called like integrated T5s. They're LEDs, but they made them look like T5s. You can daisy chain them together with this little connector cord, and they do really good, and they're cheap. I get like 6 packs for like 40 bucks or something, and that's what I do for lights in a lot of my tanks. And down here on the floor of the 40 gallons, we have this is going. When I went through my blue dreams, we have, well, one, we have some hair algae issues in here, and you can tell I've been hitting it with peroxide, starting to die. This moss is completely intertwined with algae, and I'm working on it. You can tell it's starting to fade off. Slowly but surely. Patience. But these are what I call my blue velvets. They're just a little lesser. They're not perfect blue shrimp like the blue dreams are. So I take shrimp that ain't exact. There are some really good ones in here though. So shrimp that ain't completely perfect blue shrimp, I put in here for one reason or another. This is one of my first ever start separating my culls, because my blue shrimp are so prolific. I was overloading my Skittles tank with reds and blues, so I started separating them, because even the blue shrimp, even if they're not perfect, they're still reliably blue shrimp, still good blue shrimp. They just have some irregular coloring and dark spots on them and stuff like that. So that's why they're in here, while the blue dreams is the top grade blue. and are hopefully all one solid deep blue color. So that's all the 40s. That's the 40 rack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I left at the ceiling and I'm sitting on the floor. Zoe wants to say hello. Hi, Zoe. What are you doing? What are you doing, Zoe? What are you doing? Oh. Alright, let's get back to the tour. Okay, since I'm already here on the floor, I'm going to scooch over on this side. Now this tank, it's brand new. It's a setup around Thanksgiving, so it's more like a month and a half old. Not less than 2 months anyway. And it's my orange shrimp tank. I don't have a pleco in here yet, so we can't really see. Still getting established since I just restarted. But we got some nice orange shrimp. And this tank, oh man. So snowballs, I already have it in my first snowball tank. And I wanted to have a backup. Well, I made all these tanks, shrimp tanks. They were guppy tanks for the longest time. Now they're shrimp tanks, and I put a bunch of buried female snowballs in here when I started this less than 2 months ago. And now look what I've got going on here. Look at the moss. Whew. A lot of fun. And next tank up, we've got another blue jelly tank. This was again started around Thanksgiving, less than 2 months old at this point. But we've got lots of little babies. Almost too little to see. Let me zoom in. Look at all those little guys. This colony is getting going. Another buried one. Another buried one. Another buried one. Yeah, this tank is doing good. Next tank up, a guppy tank, and these guppies are kind of sad looking. They just got nailed with fenbendazole, so they're going in the middle of a dosing treatment. But even then, there are still shrimp in this tank. For whatever reason, the shrimp in this tank, they're always throwing reelies. Not that I'm complaining, but it's kind of cool. Not all of them are reelies in here, but a lot of them are reelies in this tank. Another tank with algae. I put a little baby pleco in here a couple days ago, and he's working on it. It's getting better. This tank you can't see anything in. Just a week or two ago, and I put a little pleco in here, and he's doing a really good job. And this is a new green jade shrimp tank. Look at all those little guys in there. Wow. And I say this is Japan blue. I don't know if I said that or not. Japan blue guppies. Alright, so then we'll go over to the other side. The other 520 longs start up here. This will be my fire red shrimp tank. I started this tank with the purpose of breeding out a whole bunch and sorting out only the very, 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 very absolute best. And then all the others will probably end up in here. And then we'll get a really, really good fire red. That's the ultimate best fire red I can make over the next few years. That's my goal at this tank. To make the best fire red shrimp there is. And then down here we have a guppy tank. These are the fry I brought in from my outside guppy pond, and the guppy pond that something either ate all the adult males or somebody stole all the adult males right out of my yard. I got out there one day and all the big pretty males and adult females are gone. Every single one of them pretty much. The only males that were left were old bedraggled males. But there are some really good looking ones in here. There's one in here I've been meaning to move to the top notch breeder tank. So I have 320s dedicated to these guys. There he is. He's going into breeders. The very, very, very best going to breeders. And then this is the one that I sell out of. And these are really, really good ones. These are not culls at all. They might be getting old now because I haven't sold any guppies in a while. These guys are doing good. And then down below here, we've got my new Bloody Mary tank. It's doing super good, super good. There's a short fin green dragon. My long fin green dragons throw short fins as well, and he got caught out of there, and he's in here living it up with the Bloody Mary shrimp. And I got one more tank on the floor, and then that'll be all 18 tanks in the closet. I guess I forgot to talk about the filtration on these 20 longs. Now, some are the power heads with one sponge. Same power head running to 40 gallons. That's what some of these are, but most of them, what's happened is these power heads, they've discontinued these power heads. Instead of buying more power heads, I've just, as the power heads fail on me, then I just convert it over to air. And that's what I'm doing, as these power heads slowly fail on me. And is that a fish? How the heck did a fish get in here? I don't even know. I gotta get this out. Wow. Okay, well that was embarrassing. The only explanation I can think of is this tank and the guppy tank, or the guppy pond, are the dog's favorite watering bowls. So there's nothing I can do to stop it unless I lock the dogs in the cage, and they're not hurting nothing. The shrimp don't care. Other than that happening, I've had another shrimp or another guppy end up in my Skittles tank before, and had no clue how it happened. And they drink out of the Skittles tank too from time to time. That's the only thing I can think of, is because you can tell she don't want to get one in there. She avoids getting the guppies in her mouth, and she drinks out of the tank, out of the guppy tank. That may sound crazy. How can a dog do that? But soon you'll see. So this is another blue jelly tank. I still have another blue jelly tank. This one is about 3.5 months old, I think. So it's further along than the first one I showed you guys. And these tanks also have just the one strip light. All the 20 longs in the closet are like that. That's all they have for lights. And we have a long fin lemon blue-eyed I put in here. Or no, this one's actually a long fin albino that come out of the, because the long fin green dragons will also throw albino long fins. So that's what that one is. An albino long fin from the green dragons. And here is the guppy pond. The guppy pond is a 110 gallon stock tank. I have a Nubius grown immersed out of my DIY filter. This is, intake is 3 sponges. Look at this moss growing immersed up out of the water. That is super awesome. Super cool. That's pilo moss growing up out of the water. I like it a lot. And the Anubias growing up out of the water. But this is how the dogs could possibly get a fish. See if I get them up here. Yeah, they're hiding. But usually, anytime someone comes up here, they come flying to the surface. And this is a mix of all my guppies. As I've phased out guppies, I've thrown whatever ones I had left in here, and this was always my guppy coal tank for a long time. And as I phase out my guppy tanks, they all come in here and they just breed and breed and breed. They're all doing good. And this is also one of my main plant farms, and there might be 30 or 40 adult plecos living in here as well. So this filter is a 5-gallon bucket going down to a 1,000-gallon per hour pump. I think it's actually like 1,095 gallons per hour, and fills up this bucket that is full of lava rock and other biomedia I've had. And then the top is capped off with pea gravel as planting medium for my hydroponic type of filter, whatever you want to call it. And then I've cut spillways out on the sides of the bucket, and water flows out either side. It's a little backed up right now. I'm going to have to clean the sponges, but you can see water flowing out this side and water flowing out of that side. So yeah, it has plenty of filtration. And it's looking overgrown. I'm not a fan of the duckweed, but right now it's kind of looking cool. The Ludwig is growing up to the surface and getting really red. Everything's looking really good in here. I'm digging it. And another blue jelly tank. This is the second blue jelly tank I ever started. And this one, I'm going to go over it. Actually, people have been asking me, are there any more tanks you're going to restart? This is actually one I wanted to do. But today, this was the coolest day we've had in a couple of years. The low this morning it got down to -4 Fahrenheit, which is super, super cold. And the high was, I think it got up to like 12 or 13. And we have snowballs. We got a bad one, or a couple bad ones, or a snail or something. But we've got tons and tons and tons of snowballs in here. This is a bare bottom tank as well. All these 20 highs are bare bottoms. But eventually, when I reset this tank, I'm going to add substrate in it. Because they're bare bottoms from when they're guppy tanks. Look at all them snowballs. Holy smokes. So many. They're still all over the tank. And then the tank next to that. Oh, forgot to do the filter. There's actually 2 still up here, but only one of them works anymore. One 4-foot aquanite. I don't think you can get 4-foot aquanites anymore. But back you used to be able to. And this aquanite light is it's been with me since the very beginning. Filtration. I still have 3 of the 4 have the original little aqua clears, and then one of them took a crap on me, and I got the little Aqueon deals. Those little things are nice for hang-on backs. I'll use all my custom media. I cut my own foam for them and all that. And then Then right here we've got Blue Dreams, and this might be my best Blue Dreams line. There's not all perfect, but these guys are pretty magnificent. I really, really like these Blue Dreams. There's a few in there that ain't quite up to it, but it's just because I've missed them. For the most part, these guys are really, really good. And then this is the third tank. This might be the only tank I have that don't have shrimp in the house anyway. This is where I put the very best red mosaics, and like I said, all my dots got killed or stolen, disappeared out from outside. And so I had really good plans. This tank was going to be awesome all winter long. And I don't have any really good, I didn't have any adults. All my adult males were stolen. They took every single one of them. Every single one of them from outside. Every single one of them. Except for a couple really, really old males whose colors had faded. And well past his prime. Alright, here's the 75-gallon red shrimp tank I just recently redid. It is doing wonderful. Put algae wafer in here, it all split up. So some of it's there. Some of it's there, some of it's there in pieces, and then it's all broken up in other pieces. But on the website I sell these as the Sakura Reds because most of the females are fire red. Most of them are, but there's some males in there that aren't quite fire red. So I sell them as Sakuras. Most people just sell them as fire reds, and a lot of people don't even know better, but I don't do that. I sell them as Sakuras. And then my 11th 20-gallon long. Now, I just redid this tank. It was a tank that had gone wild. It's supposed to be an orange tank. I'd missed some wilds, and I just let it breed crazy out of control, and it was all over the place. So what I've been doing now is I've been pulling out lots and lots of little baby wilds, because the ones that were still buried. There's a dead shrimp. I don't like seeing that. Everything else looks really, really good. Mr. Pleco, the tank, he's been in here for a couple of years now. Big old albino bristle nose. And so then I talked about having outside stuff. Let's go take a look outside. So like I said here, it was very, very cold out. It was -4 out this morning. It was like 12 when I did this video. I just got a new chair. That's the old chair. No, broke vacuum cleaner. I still ain't thrown away yet. But the animals, the dogs mainly, messing around in it. I don't really care too much. It used to have a bunch of goldfish in it, spawning every year and all that. Now it's just the outside water garden. So the mini cattails come back every year. The water iris should come back every year. I got the rush. It's my backyard. I live on the corner. It's got the green and white striped rush that comes back every year. So, and the water lilies come back every year. So I'm just enjoying this as a water garden. I come out here one time. I was leaving for work at like 5 in the morning, and it was like 6 degrees out, and the pond was empty, well, half empty, and the hose had busted, and it was shooting water like 30 feet in the air. And then the 2 guppy ponds I have outside are down this side of the house. Let's go around and check on them. There's my AP100 air pump. And I think this one might be what I've done is I set the heaters at 35 because I don't want a $800 electric bill trying to keep these ponds a certain temperature, and I never did get around to building a cover for them like I want to. As you can see, that one's still going. I think the other one's still going too, but it's hard telling, and there's nothing in there but the plants, and we'll see what happens. I know that I didn't want the freeze solid, so the hardy water lilies would still be good. So the heaters are set at 35. The heat controllers are set at 35, just to keep it from freezing all the way solid. And like I said, it was -4 today. So there's a top layer of ice, and then it's all liquid underneath. All right, so back in the house again, and we have my 29-gallon Panda Guppy tank, and we have some really sweet crypts in here and some jungle val. We have an aqua neat light. I think this is an aqua clear 50. Hang on back. We've got some moss, even little bits of pearlweed still. Jungle val taken off in the back. Look at these crypts. These are called Florida Sunset crypts, and they're my favorite crypt in the world. So I guess this is more like a look at my awesome crypts and some jungle val in the back type of thing. And we got sweet Panda guppies. Alright, so that means there's only one more tank left, and that is the 75-gallon green jade shrimp tank all the way at the front of the house. And here we are, the 75-gallon green jade shrimp tank that I just recently redone. And I gotta say, I'm super happy. These shrimp look so good. They've changed their color more on it looks so much better on the black substrate. They look way more green on the black substrate. The crypts, they look like they're gonna do real good. I was kind of worried about pulling them up and ripping up the roots and worried about them melting, but nah. They're doing just fine and awesome. Love this tank. Green jade shrimp. Can't wait for this moss to form its mound, start growing in its mounding technique. We have super red, long fin plecos in here too. So that's cool. So there you have it. That's all of them. All 30 bodies of water on my property. So lots of shrimp, some guppies, some plecos, lots of plants, whole lots of moss. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.